can't tell you how honored I am to be here and frankly overwhelmed by this turnout. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's amazing. You're great. So, do I have to stay there for it to be on the Zoom? No. Okay, great. Mike knows. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. You're from Minnesota?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been in the Villages?
7 years.
7 years. Wonderful. And Chris, thank you for your comments and your leadership in Sumter County. Appreciate it very much. I am so happy to be here with you. I had no idea there were this many Democrats in the Villages. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm sure there's more. And growing by the day. So, I am running for governor to defeat Ron DeSantis. Yeah, it's kind of been around 4 years. You know, so he talks about the fact that he thinks we're the freest state in America. Let me tell you the truth. We're the most unfree state in America. I mean, you know, maybe he could see us as the freest state in America unless you're a woman and you would like your right to choose and make your own decisions about your health care. Or you're LGBTQ and you don't want to have your kids paraded in school. Or you're black or brown or a senior and want to cast your ballot and be able to mail in ballots. They tried to take that away from us. It's almost like we're only free in Florida if we're willing to do what Ron says. So, you know, we need a change. And you're going to get it. Now, I believe in a Florida for all. What does that mean? For all people. You know, friends, we're all children of God. I don't care where you came from. I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care if you're gay or straight or short or tall or from Minnesota or St. Petersburg, Florida. St. Petersburg, Florida. My God, let me pause for a minute. I just bought this tie a couple days ago to honor Ukraine. And so on the other side of the globe, we see this battle every single day where a great country who only wants to have their own democracy and their own actual freedom defended and be able to practice it. And then we've got this Putin, who's awful. He is a monster, and he's trying to oppress and kill these Ukrainian heroes. It is beyond comprehension. And I got to tell you this, because I'm such a Joe Biden fan. You know, I am so grateful to you and to God that he got elected president. I can't imagine if we were dealing with this situation right now under the formula. No way. But the way President Biden has brought together the European Union, NATO, last president wanted to get rid of NATO. Now we see up close and personal how important it is to be able to unify with other freedom-loving countries and do what's right for the cause of freedom, and not have authoritarians ruling over our lives like they do in Cuba, Venezuela, so many other places. But because of what's happening in Ukraine, I think it's setting an example to the world that people who love freedom are willing to fight for it. And so before this thing began, you know, everybody was like, okay, so the great Russian Empire, with a vast military reservoir of resources, is threatening to invade Ukraine. And you know, so many of us thought, gee whiz, if that happens, God bless them, but oh my word, how are they going to be able to stand up to it? Now we're seeing it. Because they have the will to fight. They have the passion to do what's right. They have the inner strength to do what is right. And they are defeating Russia. It's incredible to watch. It's incredible to watch. And I'm so inspired by it. And so we see these people in Ukraine fighting for their actual freedom, true freedom. And yet we have people in Tallahassee that are trying to tell us what to do every single day. And they're also taking away, they're not just attacking women, they're not just attacking black and brown voters, they're not just attacking LGBTQ, you know, they're attacking teachers. Anybody been an educator in this room? God bless you, and thank you so much for that. But enough is enough, it really is. And I am so honored to be running. You know, I received advice from people who care about me. You know, I represent a great congressional district. It's my hometown is St. Petersburg in the Clearwater area. And they said, you know, Charlie, you could probably have that seat for the rest of your life. But I love Florida. And I love my fellow Floridians. And I see what this governor is doing, and it breaks my heart. And I could not sit on the sidelines and not jump in this thing and fight for you and fight for what is right. So we have to win. We have to win. And you know, he's got all kind of money on the other side. You know, let me tell you something. In the last presidential election, if it were money alone that did it, our president would be Mike Bloomberg. Just saying. And I love Mike Bloomberg. I think he's a great guy. I think he was a great mayor. But facts are facts. And they're stubborn things. And so I don't care what he has. I don't care about his billionaire donations. I really don't. What is the expression from the Bible? Even though I walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. We're on a mission from God. We got to help people. And as I said earlier, we're all children of God. And everybody, every single one of you, everybody who may watch this on the Zoom, they deserve to be respected and treated with decency and kindness and compassion. Now, I know those are corny words, but they've never been more important. You know, because if we have leadership that puts people down and is disrespectful to others, then that infection can grow. And we've seen that happen over the previous 4 years in the White House. It's happened before in the history of the world. You know, it happened in Germany. It's happening with Russia today. And the only way to stop it is to stand up to it and speak truth to power. And that's what this campaign is all about. It's making sure we get back our Florida, our decent, kind, gracious Florida. We're the best state in the country. I was born in Pennsylvania. I'm very proud of Pennsylvania. Mike's from Minnesota. I'm sure he's, you know, proud of that. And all of you, you know, you may not have been native born, but we've all chosen to come here. And the Villages is beautiful, by the way. Holy smoke. Really, it is. It is. And, you know, I see the people manicuring as I'm driving over here this morning, and it looks like they must be doing that every single day, practically. I'm sure they're not every day. But it's amazing. It's beautiful. And, you know, you live in a wonderful, wonderful place. But I know the change is coming. Actually, the way I like to put it is there's a judgment coming. A judgment. And we're good. And he's bad. Well, I'm going to call a thing a thing. You know, I would almost call him something else that begins with an E, but I shudder to do so. But they're bad. He's bad. And he doesn't treat people with respect. And that's not right. You deserve better. We deserve better. Florida deserves better. And you know what happens in Florida happens later to the entire country. So this is 2022, right? 2024 is not far away. Now I'll tell you what I think the governor is really doing. I think what he's really doing is preparing for 2024. But I think he has made a gross miscalculation. So he is appealing to, on a daily basis, the hard right Republican red meat primary voter, not even general election Republicans, And when he does that, and whoever he attacks on whatever day it happens to be, to score political points, he's forgetting about the rest of our state. You know, we're about a third registered Republicans, about a third registered independents, and about a third registered Democrats. So we're purple. We still are. You got to remember and remind your friends who are a little skeptical about this race. This guy won the governorship 4 years ago by the smallest margin in the history of Florida. Unbelievable, but true. But true. It was like 30,000 votes out of almost 10 million votes cast. So what's the deal? How do you win? Well, you campaign in places where Democrats usually don't campaign. One of those is the Villages. And it's not an accident that we're here. So I announced last May to run for governor in my hometown of St. Pete. And then the second day, where did we go? Pensacola, Florida. Out in the Panhandle. It's a little red up there. But even though that's true, there's still a lot of Democrats there. And independents. And maybe even a few moderate Republicans who don't like the way this fellow's leading our state. And let me give you the best example I can think of. And this happened about 3.5 weeks ago. So the governor comes up to a press conference. He's walking up to go stand behind the podium, and he sees these kids standing behind him. You see the video? They're wearing masks. Heaven forbid. And he dresses them down, yells at them. And I'm like, I'm watching it, and I'm like, I cannot believe I'm seeing this. And you know, he talks about parental rights. Well, he took over the parental right that day. I mean, that's how off he is. I mean, way off. And so, you know, when I see people do that, I think he really showed his true character. We saw who the real Ron DeSantis is. Can you imagine working for that guy? I can't. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, what it's like behind closed doors with him. What his staff has to put up with. I mean, if he does that to kids, what do you think he does to other folks? It can't be fun. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's a nightmare, a full-on nightmare. And I know we're going to fix it. Now, we got a primary, right? 2 qualified, good people. But we have to win.
Yes.
We have to win. And I've actually been governor before.
Yes.
I know the job. I've been your attorney general before. For all you educators, I was the commissioner of education before that. I come from an education family, actually. I had 3 sisters. I lost one, but God rest her soul. She's in a better place. But 2 of my 3 sisters were public school teachers. I'm a public school kid. My dad was a school board member when I was a kid. I believe in public education. I want to support it. So, we have a problem with Florida's economy. You know, if you're a millionaire or a billionaire in Florida, you're doing great. No problem. But if you're not, and most of us aren't, it's a little bit of a struggle anymore for working class people. You know, to pay your utility bill, to pay your property insurance. I think it was Progressive Insurance Company I saw the other day had dropped 95,000 policies. Just cut them off. That's what's happening in Florida. While he's dealing with cultural wars that really don't help anybody's life at all, these things are happening in Florida, and he's ignoring them. Because he can't score the political points across the country that he wants to score by helping us and be focused on us. And what we're dealing with in our daily lives, your auto insurance. I mean, all of these things are adding up and making it difficult. Florida is almost becoming unaffordable. And we can fix it. I mean, when I was Attorney General, I sued utility companies and lowered their rates. When I got elected governor the last time, the first thing I did after I got sworn in, I called a special session on homeowners insurance. And we dropped the rates 10%. depends on what you care about, what your focus is. And we once had a great president who said that our government should be of the people, by the people, and for the people. Not for Ron DeSantis, but the future. So I'm excited about the race. We have these bumper stickers. I see them on your table, Chris. Now, if you don't have a car, you can put it on your golf cart. And we have yard signs. I don't know what the local restrictions are and that kind of stuff, but please take them and use them. What?
You can put it in your backyard.
Oh, in your backyard? Okay, well, have the front yard, I guess. I'm just kidding. But seriously, we need to expand Medicaid in Florida. Really, the fact that we don't do that means that 800,000 to 1 million of our fellow Floridians don't get health care. And here's the deal. The federal government would pay for it. We send our taxes up to, IRS. I'm doing mine next week, a little late, but hopefully not too late. Don't tell anybody. No, you know what? I talked to my accountant yesterday, and you don't have until April 15th. You have until April 18th. That's for free, a little tip. But in all seriousness, I'm excited about Florida's future. I'm excited about our opportunity. People say to me, you got to win. We need you. We need each other. We need each other to do this. That's the only way it's going to happen. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I thank you for letting me come by. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Thank you for being great Democrats. I still have hope in my heart. I'm an optimist. I'm a happy warrior. I am. And this is fun. He's fun to run against. He's so bad, he's fun to run against. Imagine you're running against somebody that everybody loves. Well, there's a section that does love them. And I don't want their vote. Nor do we need it. But if some of those moderate Republicans want to come over, because I don't know if you knew this, I used to be a Republican, but I saw the light. What was the guy named Paul? I think it was Saul, and then it became Paul after God came down on him. Quit being mean to my son. But I really am excited about it. And I know we have a golden opportunity here. I wear these yellow wristbands every day. I don't know if you can see it, but it's about a rule that my mother and father taught me and my 3 sisters. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. And the wristband just says practice the golden rule every day. And so I'm listening to a friend of mine on a radio interview, Mike, the other day. His name is Peter Sorge. He owns this publication, I guess is the right word for it, Florida Politics. And he said, I think Charlie Crist is the golden rule candidate. I never heard that before. But he's right. He's right. And my feeling about the current governor is that he never heard or learned the golden rule. And if he did, he forgot it. Because he isn't doing unto others, I'm sure, as he would like to have done unto him. And so our job is to fix it. And it's a great mission. It really is. So we got to register as many people as we can. It's very important. We got to make sure that everybody who's registered votes. Because that vote is precious. I served with a wonderful man in Congress, John Lewis from Georgia. Really. Civil rights icon. And he used to tell me all the time, and my colleagues as well. He would say, Charlie, he spoke so passionately and kind of soft. He said, Charlie, the right to vote is really precious. And he said, it's so precious, it's practically sacred. Because of all these issues that we care about, whether it's education, the environment, Social Security, whatever it might be, all of those issues depend on one issue first, our right to vote, and not have drawn suppressive. On that front, we got a great victory this last week. A federal judge in Tallahassee, who was appointed by Barack Obama, kicked out that anti-voting law that they passed last year. Thank God. Thank God. So again, thank you for everything you're doing. Don't forget the bumper sticker for the card and the sign for the backyard. Well, everybody who's playing golf behind will see it, so that's all right. No, but you're good people, and I'm honored to be with you, and I am overwhelmed that so many of you are here, and I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to Q&A, but Governor, one of our members received this note, and you had talked about the political aspirations of our current governor, and that was mailed to from Governor Ron DeSantis and mailed to somebody in Danbury, Connecticut for fundraising. So you were right, you were spot on. Very good. Anyway, let's move to Q&A. Where we can, there's microphones on the side, and there's also, we've got someone moderating the Zoom. So let's start on the right, my right. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Mike.
Mark, you're honoring us with your presence. My big question, I think, is on your first day in office, what can you fix as quickly as possible?
Well, something I learned when I was governor before is that you have the ability to sign executive orders even before the legislature comes into session. And I'm sure we're going to be real busy signing a lot of executive orders that first day because there's so much to fix, right? And I want to tell you a story about that authority that I didn't realize even when I got elected governor the last time, but experience matters and it helps. So I'm in my office in Tallahassee. This goes back to 2008. Barack Obama was running for president for the first time. And, on election day, big day, but prior to it, we had early voting like for the first time in Florida. And the lines were extraordinary here, particularly in South Florida, but all over the state. And so I got a call as governor from a state senator. Mind you, I'm a Republican at the time. So I get a call from a Democratic state senator, Dan Gelber, wonderful man. He's now the mayor of Miami Beach. He's great, brilliant. So he calls me up and he said, Governor, are you seeing on TV in Tallahassee these long lines all across the state to vote, to early vote? And I said, yeah. He said, well, you ought to do something about it. I said, like what? He said, I think you should sign an executive order expanding the hours of early voting. And I said, Dan, do I have the authority to do that? He goes, I don't know, but you got a general counsel. You got a general counsel in the governor's office, why do you ask him? So I asked the general counsel to come down to my office. He came in, I expressed to him what the senator had shared with me, and I said, do you think I have the authority unilaterally, as governor, to your question, to sign an executive order to expand the hours of early voting? And he said, no, sir, I don't think you do, Governor. And I said, well, I'm a lawyer too. In fact, I was your attorney general. Let's have a little discussion. Why do you say that? What's the statute say about signing executive orders? He said, well, it basically says that the governor can't sign an executive order unless there's an emergency. I said, okay, let's play this out using the Socratic method. I said, we're a democracy, right? And he said, yes, sir. And I said, and people in our state, which is a democracy, are not able to exercise their right to vote. I said, General Counsel, that is an emergency. That is an emergency. Remember what John Lewis said. If we can't, we don't get anything. So I said, go up, make out the order, draft the order, and I will sign it. He came back in about a half hour. I signed it in the afternoon. And by that evening, all 67 counties in Florida expanded their hours of early voting. So you all could vote. And so this is about 2 weeks before Election Day itself. And I had Republicans call me and say, Governor, I think you just threw the election to the Democrats. And I don't know why you would do that. And I said, well, I don't know if I've done that or not, but let me tell you something. When I got sworn in as your governor, I did not get sworn in as the governor of the Republicans of Florida. I got sworn in as the governor of the people of Florida. So, thank you for the question. We do a lot of executive orders, and some of the people don't even think we probably could do. But you don't know until you try. Thank you. Mike.
Okay, on the left, Ash.
Hi, Governor.
Yes.
I have been listening to your words. I'm running for state representative, and I want to make sure you win in Sumter County and Hernando County, which are my counties, for the election. I'll be speaking your words from now till election day.
Thank you. That's the toughest question I've ever got. God bless you. Seriously, thank you, sir, and thank you for running.
Okay, on the right.
Hello, Governor. It's a pleasure meeting you today.
You too.
There are roughly 27,000 homeless people in Florida. Even worse, more than 10% of them are veterans. As governor, do you have any plans at all to try to alleviate that problem?
Yes, and it's a huge problem. And it breaks my heart that it affects so many veterans. But yeah, there is a little-known fund, trust fund in Tallahassee. It's called the Sadowski Fund. And it's hundreds of millions of dollars that are set up for housing to get people to be able to have a roof over their head that they can afford. This governor has gutted the funds that were in there. Gone. And, you know, we're not in the middle of a recession. And in fact, they just had the largest state budget in the history of Florida that he's about to sign into law. And so if I'm governor, we will protect that Sadowski Trust Fund for housing and make sure that it's utilized all over the state for veterans and anybody else who's having a hard time putting a roof over their head. And more than that, though, I would encourage local governments, too, to help out in this area, because it's a huge problem, it really is. You know, I'm from St. Pete, I told you that. We just elected our first black mayor, Ken Welch, wonderful man, great guy. And one of the things he did at the very beginning, after he got sworn in, was say, we're going to have a housing fund right here in our community so that we help people in the same predicament. I would encourage all mayors to do that all across our state. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, Governor. Thank you again for being here. I am a very proud retired New York City teacher, taught for 30 years in what we call in the business the hood, serving the underserved, grades K to 9. My question to you is, what are you going to do, or what can you do perhaps, as governor, this horrific on so many levels, and I'm saying this professionally, not personally, what we call down here the Don't Say Gay bill. It needs to go. It is going to do incredible damage. It already has.
It already has. You're absolutely right. And thank you for having been a teacher.
And I just want you, after hearing you speak, I'm going to be out there campaigning for you like gangbusters. Very nice.
Thank you very much. And you're right. I mean, you know, what does it matter if somebody's gay or straight?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think it was President Obama, frankly, who said it best when he sort of evolved on the issue during his presidency. And he said, you know, as I've thought about it, what does it matter? You know, who am I to tell anybody who to love? love. And he was right, perfectly right. And this governor is doing exactly the opposite. He's trying to shame people.
Right.
And it's a sin. It is. And so what do we do to stop it? We repeal that law.
Let's do it.
Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Yeah. I mean, that issue has gotten so awful that for the first time in my life, I'm seeing a governor of Florida attack Disney. Really? Mickey Mouse? I mean, how low can you go? It's amazing. On the right, Mike?
Marcia?
Governor,
Marcia.
so, one of DeSantis' legacy.
Your mic is cutting out.
Is that,
Marcia, come on up here and use mine. Or Mike's.
how about this? Oh, this is much.
How about that? There you go.
Not that I would not want to be up there with you, sir.
Well, I'm going to come down and be with you. Okay.
Well, one DeSantis' legacy is a public school system that is reeling from lack of funds and community support. And it has become the primary arena to fight the culture wars. What would you do specifically to help assure teachers and administrators that you have their back?
Great question. I would truly give them their freedom. What an awful word that he misuses every day. And give them respect. You know, look, I told you my dad was on the school board when I was a kid. So local school boards, their authority is being usurped by the governor. Local county commissions, their authority is being usurped by the governor. Local city council, their authority, Marcia, is being taken away by the governor. And yet he says we're the most free state in America. Well, stop lying to us. Because that's not what you're doing. You're doing exactly the opposite, Governor. And I would do the opposite of what he is doing, to your point, and respect him. You know, when it comes down to how you treat human beings, or a school board, or a teacher, it really does come down to one word: respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Who was that that sang that? Great singer. Yeah. Aretha Franklin. You got it, girl. All right.
I understand you have a plan for seniors. What is it?
It comes back to the same word we just talked about. But so my dad's 89. My mother is 87. I love her with all my heart. They're doing great in St. Pete. Well, actually, Mom's in a wheelchair, but her spirits have never been better. She's doing great. And it's respect them. Respect. I'm a senior. Shoot, I just turned 65 this year. So a friend of mine told me, "Oh, so now you're in Club Med." And I said, "I've never been to Club Med." He goes, "Medicare." Anyway, but it really is to respect our senior citizens. One example, the fact that the governor signed that bill that would make it harder to mail in ballots. My 89-year-old father, my 87-year-old mother love to vote by mail. Right? I do too. Particularly if we're in a pandemic. So that's one thing. But, you know, and then I talked about the other issue of health care and Medicaid expansion to make sure that more of our fellow Floridian seniors and otherwise get the health care that you deserve. And protect Medicare, you know, and not fight against it. And Social Security. These things are so important. I have voted in Congress to protect pensions. That's for seniors. And I'll keep doing it. And as your governor, I'll advocate to what will then be my former colleagues in Congress to keep protecting it, to keep fighting for our seniors. Because if they're fighting for them all across the country, it's going to help Florida too. And those are just part of the things that I would do. Thank you for the question. Very important.
Let's start, Phyllis, is there any questions on the Zoom? Phyllis, can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay. Let's come over here. Governor.
Morning, Governor.
Good morning. You can just call me Charlie. But if you want to get used to it again, that's okay too. Enjoy freedom.
Governor Charlie.
Good compliment.
One of the things that I haven't heard a lot about that I think is maybe the most important is climate change. Here in Florida, our coasts are getting inundated underneath by salt water. All these high rises have steel supports going down into that stuff that are going to be rusting. It's so much less expensive to take care of things before they happen than remediate after. What can we do for that?
That's a great point. Climate change is extraordinarily important. It certainly is important to me. So I live in Pinellas County. You know, St. Petersburg, Clearwater. Pinellas County is a peninsula. We're surrounded by water, the Gulf of Mexico and Tampa Bay. It's the peninsula on the peninsula of Florida. We are the state that is most susceptible to rising sea levels. Number one, I'm the only governor in the history of the state of Florida who held a summit on climate change. Elect me and we'll do it again. And to your point about the condos, you know, we all tragically saw what happened in Surfside. Incredibly horrible incident to see that loss of life. The legislature had an opportunity, and the governor, to pass legislation this year to fortify and have more inspections of those buildings so that doesn't happen again. Guess what they did? Nothing. No. They're not addressing the issues that really matter to everyday Floridians. They're going after Disney and women and minorities and voting, you know, stuff that's important so we stop it, but they're forgetting about these things that are affecting our lives every single day in every way. And that's why you deserve to have a governor who gets up in the morning and isn't thinking about sleeping and being in the White House and thinks about what you're dealing with in your house. That's what's important.
As we know, the opposition feeds on fear tactics, and one of the things they're spreading is that Democrats want to have a state income tax, and in Florida, and if you could elaborate on that.
Sure. Listen, if I get elected governor, during my term, you'll never have a state income tax. So that's about that.
Thanks for being here, and so proud to hear you and hear what you have to say. I raised the question with the villages about flags because and I got the message back that the village ruling on that is that flags are neutral, so that it's okay to have a flag in the villages.
Did you say that they said flags are neutral?
Are neutral.
Yeah, right.
So why don't we get some neutral Crist flags that we can put out in the villages that takes care of the issue of the yard signs that they have ruled are not accepted, but flags are accepted.
Okay. So Sam, we got to do that. Right? We will get flags this week. A lot of them. But you got to get them and put them up. You know? Yeah.
How about one more?
Sure.
Governor DeSantis has used state money to fund his own militia. And the only reason why I believe that's done is probably to put down protests. Anything we can do in the meantime or after you're elected?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, he put into law his own cops, his own secret police. I mean, where are we? Is this Florida? Is this America? No, that's not American. I'll tell you that. I mean, you know, having been governor, I actually am aware that there's this organization called FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. He already has protection. So what is this really about? You know, I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not going to analyze the guy, but you can do that. I think we know what it's about. But how do we stop it? We beat him. That's the short answer. We beat him. And then this craziness stops. We'll repeal that stuff. Or I'll sign an executive order on the first day to get rid of the secret police for the governor. Crazy, man.
Eric?
I got one more question.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I campaigned for you when you ran as a Republican. I was a registered independent, but I knew that you had a great vision.
Hopefully you and I have been forgiven.
Yes, we have, and I've met you many times. I am in the hospitality industry. I am a villager, but I work still. I have a question about the tourism for the state of Florida. We are the #1 tourism state. So in light of what DeSantis is doing with Disney, and I don't believe it'll stop there, I think he'll go on to the other attractions. What are you doing to work with the Hotel, Motel, and Lodging Association, Visit Florida, Visit Orlando, to support this ridiculous battle that he's putting out there? And I hope he understands that 80% of the people that work for Disney are from the LPG, the gay and lesbian community. So he has a big nut to crack with. But what are you doing to support our industry here? Because we rely, if we don't have that industry, those taxes will go up.
No, I know. We need to do everything we can to make sure that we protect tourism. And a big part of it was the climate change thing. Because people come here because, in my opinion, Florida's so beautiful. I think Florida's the most beautiful state in the country. North are pretty in the summer. Although the snow's not ugly, for a day. But, you know, in all seriousness, we have to protect tourism. Because I think, you know, protecting tourism by protecting our environment, the environment and the economy in Florida are uniquely intertwined. As I said, because people come here because she's so beautiful. And if they stop coming here because we ignore the environment, or tourism by extension, then we lose our economy. And all those restaurateurs and people who have hotels and all the people who work in them will lose their job. And so, you know, let's talk about how Ron treated COVID. We haven't touched on that yet. Fortunately, I think we're getting beyond it. I just got my second booster, by the way. And not afraid to admit it. I remember they were asking Ron on Fox, because that's the only network he goes on. And then asked him if he got a booster. He goes, well, that's kind of a personal decision. I really don't think I need to share that. And who checked him on it? Donald Trump. He said, I see these politicians wanting to admit they got a booster, and you know why, he said? And the interviewer said, no, why? He said, because he's gutless. I don't know what's going on between those two guys, but stay tuned. We'll see what happens. But anyway, the way he treated COVID, the governor, our current one, you know, basically didn't advocate getting a vaccine, didn't advocate wearing masks indoors during the height of the pandemic. You know, said that he signed an executive order that you essentially couldn't have masks in school. That was personal to me. And let me explain why. I have a 5-year-old niece. She goes to school for the first time last August, 1 month after he signs the executive order, no masks in school. And so after 2 days in school, nobody was wearing a mask in Pinellas County. They didn't challenge the governor. She got COVID. 5 years old. So she goes home at night, of course, and when she did, she ran into her 2-month-old sister. 2 days later, she contracted COVID. So why you have a governor who is laser focused on scoring political points instead of protecting people, we pay the consequences and suffer as a result. And I guarantee you, that's not unique to my family. You know today that almost 80,000 Floridians are dead from COVID. Over 5 million have contracted the disease, and hopefully most gotten over it. But I can't help but think in my own mind, if our governor would have been a responsible leader and believed in science and scientists and healthcare professionals, how many more of those almost 80,000 would still be with us? Or how many of the 5 million plus would not have gotten it? Leadership matters. And in this case, to what we're talking about today, elections matter. But they matter in a big way, a big way. Mike.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
On behalf of the entire Village of Democratic Club, thanks for taking the time to meet with us. We appreciate it.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.